Good morning, everyone. It's me, Shad, here with another OrNERDnary vlog. Um, Before we got going today, I wanted to put out a little content warning. I'm going to talk about some heavy stuff, specifically mental health related stuff and suicidal ideation. So, you've been warned. Today is July 20th, 2024. I don't have an official date for what this, or name for what this date means to me yet. I jokingly sometimes call it Rock Bottom Day. I've also called it Death and Resurrection Day. I've called it Reincarnation Day. I've called it Death and Rebirthday. Rebirthday, like all sorts of things in my head have swirled about for what this day is. For those of you that have followed my content for a while and have just listened to me babble, you know I'm a huge mental health advocate, and I have been on a huge mental health journey for the last 3 years. July 20th, 2021 was not a great day for me. I had been battling more than 2 decades of depression and anxiety and losing. Life was actually really good in 2021, pandemic aside. But I was a mess. I was folding under the pressure of my job. I was folding under my own dissatisfaction with my place in the world, the fact that I hadn't achieved anything. All these internal struggles that I was having. And as a result, the best relationship of my life was suffering. I wasn't taking care of myself, I wasn't taking care of things, and I wasn't the best version of me. I was radioactive with my negativity and my sadness, and it all came to a head on today. I've talked at length about, what happened, the heartbreak I felt, all of that stuff. But the important thing is, it was the nudge I needed. Because, as I sat at my desk in the apartment across the alley on the 3rd floor that night, I did not believe I was going to make it through the night if I stayed in the apartment. So I took a walk. That walk carried me 6 miles away to the local emergency room, and I checked myself in. I spent a week in an inpatient mental health facility, got the tools I needed, the help I needed, new medicines, a new therapist, all of that. And I'm here today in a much better place because my stubborn ass needed that bump. I needed to be pushed out of the nest. I have never been happier with myself than I have been for the last year and a half, almost 2 full years. I wake up every day. I mean, it's not even 7:30 yet, and I'm just ready to go. And I'm like that almost every day. That used to only be a Saturday thing. My ex-girlfriend could tell you that Saturdays were the only days for a very long time that I woke up excited to be awake. Quite literally, I used to, even though everything was good and I had a wonderful supporting partner and I had all sorts of extra cash because I had a partner, I could basically do whatever I wanted for myself and the kids. For those of you that don't know, they're my kids. My ex-girlfriend was de facto stepmom. She was supportive and helped me out, loved my kids. It was great. Life was fantastic. But my chemically unbalanced brain couldn't see it, because all my chemically unbalanced brain wanted to think about was I was a failure. I hadn't succeeded at anything I wanted to do. I had not published a book. I had not made it as a streamer. I had not done anything. And I also could not stand what I did for a living. That hasn't changed, but we'll get to that. I'm in the best me I have ever been in, I want to say, I'm mathing, bear with me, 26 years? Yeah, that tracks. I like many, really started struggling with depression and anxiety at puberty. My entire teens were up and down. Unfortunately, I did not have the tools to take care of it. I heard a lot of, what do you have to be sad about? And don't be an Eeyore about it, stuff like that. Instead of, hey, let's go get you help. So, and mind you, I realized I could have got help as an adult, but, sometimes learned stubbornness is hard to beat. Learned/natural stubbornness. I'm like a bull sometimes. So, all of that rambling, meandering nonsense. 3 years ago today, I had the extremely painful, devastating nudge I needed. Went and got help. Wasn't enough to save what was. Eventually I moved out into this apartment and continued to work on myself. Continued to go to therapy weekly for a long time, and then it became bi-weekly. Learned the tools I needed, got better, and I'm so glad I did. Because while the outside world, as we all know, is falling apart, there's so much stuff that I think about that I would have missed. And so many things could have gone worse if I had completely thrown in the towel. Later in 2021, my now 18-year-old, based on what I did, requested help in a similar manner, and they went inpatient. Eventually they moved in with me. In fact, they're back there sleeping right now. They graduated high school early this year. They got accepted to Xavier University. We toured the campus yesterday. I would have missed all of that if I had given up completely. So that's why this day is all of those things I talked about, because I didn't take care of myself for 20 plus years. I stubbornly, through both nature and nurture, had it in my head that I could do it. I could beat this. I could brute force my way through it if I just kept grinding it out. If I just hung in there and did what I needed to do, I could be a success. I could do all the things I needed to do to make myself not feel like a failure, and then life would be good. That whole capitalist grind mindset. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and stuff. Came at a great cost. As I said earlier, best relationship I ever had in my entire life. The one that basically sets the bar for any future relationships, which means there probably won't be any. Died because of the state I had allowed myself to get in. I didn't take care of things. I don't talk about it publicly, but too often, but I didn't get a car I needed a new car. I had a broken down car that sat in front of the apartment until the police marked it to like, hey, this hasn't moved in a while. So then we had to tow it around to the parking spot in the back to get it off the street, which, you know, pissed my ex off because she had a really nice car and it had to be parked on the street instead. I didn't take care of legal nonsense that I should have taken care of. There was a lot of things that I wasn't doing because I was so depressed and scared and fighting for my life in here. I was not the best partner I could have been. I struggled with doing the normal tasks. And I now know, having been diagnosed with ADHD, a lot of it was that. It was the out of sight, out of mind, hey, if I don't do this right now, I'm not going to do it kind of stuff. And that wasn't cool, ultimately. My ex deserved better than that. Than to have to tell me to do things that I should have taken care of, and then to be mad that she nagged. So I apologize again and again and again for that. The me that I had become in 2021 was not me anymore. I used to hear a lot that, Shad, you're not at the wheel right now. I can see that it's your demons driving, because my eyes would be different. Not like different color or anything awesome like that, but like just the form of them. So today is the 3-year anniversary of the day my life changed for the worse and then got way better. And that's why I went back and forth all week if I was going to talk about it. Because my brain, I tend to know dates of this nature. Like I suck at birthdays and phone numbers and whatnot, but like appointments, I'm really good at missing appointments. But give me a day that my brain has decided is an important milestone day or whatever, or a day that needs to be remembered, and I can't forget it. So July 20th, 2021, I lost everything I had thought I was working towards. I say thought I was working towards because in here I thought I was on track for the best life ever, except for the part of my brain that wanted this to die. I quite literally, I've said it before, say it again. I used to look forward to ending every day with my partner at my side, and then when I would wake up, my first thought would be, shit, I woke up again, which is fucking sick when you think about it. And then second was, oh, she's here. So that good part died. And it left me with just the bad part of, fuck, I woke up again. Now, thankfully, I got through that, and now I wake up with a sense of, like, okay, I'm here. Let's do something. I think Anthony Hopkins said it best recently when he said that he's 81 years old, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm still here. Let's have a sense of mischief about it. And I really like that framing. Because at my core, I'm a very happy guy. Chemical imbalances, man. Chemical imbalances and life stress. Like right now, I won't bullshit you. I don't like my job any more than I did the place I was working at the day this happened 3 years ago. But I like the company I work for way better, and that makes all the difference in the world. Like, I have an amazing boss. I work from home 80% of the time. I get paid better than I've ever been paid in my entire life. Now, granted, it's not enough, but it's more than it was, and it keeps this. You know? I felt like it was important to talk about this day because my life is 180 degrees different than it was 3 years ago, for good and bad. Like, yeah, I'm lonelier than I've ever been in my entire life, but I'm also happier than I've ever been in my entire life. So it's a weird feeling. It's just like I said about the outside world falling apart. That, like, all the pending disasters that we see, or the pending disasters and the ongoing ones that we see, and then geopolitical stuff and fucking domestic political stuff, and it's wild out there. But in here, I'm good. Also, Omar, who, if you've watched my videos at any point in time, you regularly will see him jump up and be in my face while I'm trying to talk into the microphone. Wouldn't have him. He would not be in the safety of this home if I had done what I was thinking about doing 3 years ago. If I'd done what I was thinking about doing 3 years ago, that child back there probably wouldn't be going to Xavier right now. And they certainly wouldn't be going to Xavier to be a psychiatric nurse to help teenagers and children that are struggling with depression, because that's their goal, and I'm so proud. I guess my point of this overall is to just share my story and hope that somebody that might need to hear it hears it and realizes it can get better if you can get help. I know that's a big if in the United States because fucking things are expensive. But I celebrate today now. It's kind of why I call it Rebirthday, because it's like if 7/20/21 had not happened, I can't guarantee that I would be sitting here 7/20/24 sipping this delicious coffee with a lovely cat who's just my entire life, with all my cool D&D stuff, with all my cool plans for future encounters and stories I want to tell, the multitude of friends I've made online, all of that. Julia, one of my favorite streamer friends. Like, it's been a bumpy road, but it's been mostly up. And that's the wild and great and amazing thing, is that I have grasped life from the jaws of death, so to speak, in that if I hadn't been pushed out of the nest, if I hadn't had that moment of utter devastation when someone I cared about very deeply got up from the couch, we were watching Critical Role, and she sat up, and I looked at her, and I'm entirely too self-aware sometimes, or I guess I'm entirely too aware about other people sometimes, I should say. I'm terrible at self-awareness, I guess, or at least I was. Anyway, she sat up and, was going to do her nightly routine, brush her teeth, go to bed. Brush your teeth, wash your face, go to bed. And I looked at her and I said, "You're about to break up with me, aren't you?" And she did. And it was the right choice for me at the time. Because if she hadn't, I would have continued on my path of slow self-destruction and self-loathing. And I probably would have ended it at some point. It would have ended me at some point. Because I wasn't getting the help. Like, I had therapy earlier in the year, but the therapist was terrible, and I had kind of given up on it again. If she hadn't broken up with me on the 20th of 2021, I probably wouldn't be here today either, because I would have continued to try to brute force my way through it, stubbornly tried to get better on my own without proper medication. Like, I was on medicine, but it wasn't the right medicine. It was doing nothing for my anxiety, and it was doing nothing as a spin-off of that. While it helped with the depression, it wasn't fully helping with the depression. I would have never been diagnosed with ADHD because that has made my life actually better to at least understand the way my brain works. There are a lot of things wouldn't have happened if she hadn't broken up with me. Because in her own words, when I said that, she said that she thought about lying to me and saying, no, things are fine, I'm just tired. Or rolling with it because I opened the gate. If my stupid mouth had not opened up and said what I said, you're about to break up with me, aren't you? And it's funny because that was my last girlfriend before her. Like, I recognized the body language and just the general vibe that she was exuding in that moment matched when my previous ex had broken up with me. And so that's where my brain was like, oh shit. Pattern recognition. Ultimately, I'm thankful that I got the help I needed. It sucks that the best thing ever had to die. Like the once in a while conversation that I have with her, the once in a while visit when she comes to see the kids, is so not what I wanted for this point in my life. Honestly, I figured by now we would be married and have a house. I was half right. She has a house. But so much good came out of it. I can't say it wasn't what needed to happen. I mean, by virtue of the way the dominoes fell. We broke up a couple months later because our landlord wouldn't let us break our lease. I ended up in this apartment, right next door. Because I had this apartment to myself, I was able to move my 18-year-old in when they needed to get away from where they were living and the stress that was putting them on. That's a separate conversation. I was able to support them through the remainder of their high school, got them to graduate in January this year, helped guide them on their career path because after a couple stays in an inpatient program themselves, they realized that that's what they want to do with their lives. So they found their purpose, and now they're about to go to an amazing school 15 minutes down the road and chase their goal of helping other kids like them so that they don't turn into adults like I was. So that's why it was important I spoke on this today, because I have, life has not been what I wanted it to be by far for the last 3 years. As I said, I'm simultaneously the loneliest I've ever been, but also the happiest. I have no external influencers that stand in the way or distract me from working on me, and I have done that extensively. I've been to therapy a bunch, and I've taken my meds, and I've I still struggle with my day-to-day job because I'm unsatisfied with it, and that in itself is a problem, but it's a small problem in the scheme of things. So I just keep grinding away at it. I sleep a lot. I make sure I get the appropriate amount of sleep, which was not something I was doing before the fall. Ultimately, life is better than it's ever been in its own weird, twisted sense of the word. I gotta say, I'm actually proud of myself. I talked about this for 25 minutes and I didn't cry. I'm a weepy bastard sometimes. A big old emotional softy. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve. I wear like a whole suit made out of my heart. I'm sentimental as fuck. Anyway, happy Rebirthday, everybody. For those of you that celebrate. I'm going to finish my coffee, finish getting ready, go to the grocery store, pick up my youngest, and do my damnedest to have a really great day. Um, if you are struggling, there are resources. I know here in America, especially, it's very difficult, very expensive to get help sometimes, and that does suck. There are hotlines and whatnot you can call. And if need be, even though it's expensive and even though you'll incur a fair amount of debt, don't hesitate to go to the emergency room. It is better to go to the emergency room and get help than it is to stubbornly try to do it yourself, or do it or not do it out of fear, because that was a big thing for me for a very long time. I was afraid of what would happen if I sought help. That was another reason why I didn't and wanted to do it by myself. Was I didn't want a mental health diagnosis to be used against me. I should have got help. Should have got help way earlier. I should have righted that ship before it sank, and then maybe I would be in that house with that beautiful, supportive girlfriend / maybe even wife by now. Life could have been so much better if I had gotten help earlier, and I see that. I don't regret it fully. Like, obviously I can't turn back the clock 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years and fix it. But as someone who lives in their imagination a lot, I fancy myself a writer. I do think about how different life could have been if I had gotten help at, 15, like I gave my kid. How wildly different 41-year-old Chad's life could have been if 15-year-old Chad had gotten the appropriate treatments and help. I may not have joined the Air Force. I might have gone straight to college. And after touring Xavier yesterday, I really wish I had gone to Xavier. And I'm not even Catholic. Anyway, I'm going to do all those things I said just a little bit ago. I'm going to finish my coffee. I'm going to finish getting dressed because I have shorts on, not pants. And you could go to the store like this, but I want to wear proper clothing. Don't forget to, be gentle with yourself. Get help if you can find it, afford it. Understand that we're all flawed people, just doing our best. But be gentle with yourself. That's the important thing. I spent so much of my life hating the man I saw in the mirror, or in this case, on the screen in front of me. And now I love that goofy fuck. Although it does suck that his hair's thinning. And his beard's gray. Although I kind of like the gray beard. Never mind. Anyway, I digress. I haven't had my medicines yet, so my focus is all like, woo! Today's going to be a good day. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good life. I hope you take care of yourself. Take care of those that you love. If you have loved ones in your life, people that love you, don't let a day go by without them knowing that you love them. Because there's 1,000,001 things that can cause them to not be there for you, or you to not be there for them. We get into this comfort mindset where, like, oh, this is my forever person. They're going to be here forever, or whoever, whatever. And nothing is forever. So make the most of each day you have with those individuals, and never, ever, ever, ever let a day go by without telling them that you love them and how important they are to you. Even the day that my life was turned upside down and my life was turned upside down and what ultimately ended up being the best way possible, even in that day, tears in my eyes, frustrated about what was going on at work, I still looked at my now ex and said, every day, no matter how bad it gets, I know that I'm going to wake up next to you, and I'm going to end the day in bed next to you. And that keeps me going. Sucks that I said that on the day that, several hours later we were no more. But that's what I'm talking about. Don't let a day go by without expressing the love you feel in here. Because the next day it could be gone. I've talked enough. You've listened enough at this point. Again, finishing the coffee, carrying on with my day. You have a good one. Love yourself first and foremost, and then love the people that you love. As my shirt says, the classic Caduceus Clay line of "It's love that makes people," and I fully believe that. See, you can see it. There we go. All right, end of episode, end of rant, end of vlog. Carry on with your days, and I will see you in the next Alan Wake video, which will probably drop on Tuesday because I have to record it still. Anyway, have a good one. I just splashed coffee on my desk. Bye.